The new Warzone patch for Season 3 Reloaded has changed so many things, and in this video I'm going to go through some of the best things and some of the things that maybe I'm not so impressed with in this update. In the live stream we did look for Easter eggs and secrets and stuff like that, and basically we couldn't find anything. We checked in all of the new places, so all of these new like minecart stations I'll talk about a bit later. We checked a bunker door on the side of Peak, but yeah, we had a look all over. We also had a look in Rebirth, and we couldn't find anything. If you do find anything secret or anything that you think is pointing towards an Easter egg, please let me know in the comments. I'd be super interested to find out. And if you've got screenshots or video, just tweet them at me. I'm at twitter.com/geekypastimes, and I'll check them out. So let's talk about some of the new updates. I'm not going to go through every new update in this list because there's absolutely tons. You can check the Raven blog. They've put the patch notes up there. There's so many, but I am going to talk about some of the things that we experienced in gameplay. So the things that I noticed while we were playing. So the first big one is the new mine system. So for anyone who doesn't know, all of the hatches are open now. There's 14 hatches, they're all open. The 7 that were originally open still have their kind of bunker underneath, but they've got a new door that takes you through to another level below it. And then you've got these sort of 4 different walls, and some of them will have like an entryway or an exit. Some of them will just have stone walls, but they can take you to other stations. The hatches that weren't open before, they don't have like a new bunker or anything. They just take you straight down into that station. So the way this works is each of the entryways will have like a light above it, and it'll either be green, yellow or red. If it's green, that means it's safe to go through there and you just interact with it, it'll open up. Then if you move into there, it'll play a quick cutscene and teleport you to the next place. Unfortunately, you don't get to like ride the minecart or something like that. It's all kind of implied. A bit like the train station worked in Verdansk, although in that you did actually get on a train. But anyway, if the light is yellow, that means there's gas at the other side of it. Or basically it's out of the zone, but the gas hasn't quite closed in yet. If the gas is actually there, it won't let you get on the thing at all, and you'll see that the door will be sealed and there'll be a bit of gas seeping under it, which is kind of a cool effect. If the light is red, that means there's other players at that station, so you can go through there and then they will kind of know that something's happening because the door will open, but you will go through there and you can try and fight them. I managed to take someone out doing that, but obviously that's a pretty risky thing to do because if they know that you're going to be coming, they could be set up. I personally haven't seen people camping down there in any of these, but I've seen lots of people in chat saying that that's completely what they expect to happen, is that people will put mines and stuff like that there, so you'll appear in there and then just suddenly explode. It'll be interesting to see how the kind of meta goes around there. One really good thing about this is Caldera was a pain to get around because of the sort of high terrain in the middle, because of Peak. It's always been a bit of a pain. Even with the redeploy balloons, I found it a bit annoying to get around. With this system, you can get around the whole map super easily. Each station will only take you to 1 or 2 other stations. The exit ways that come from other stations, you can't go through, like you can't open them or anything like that. And there's maps everywhere to kind of show you where it's going, and there's like the grid references on the walls to show you which way you're going to go. But it's a super quick way to get around because you can just go in and out of loads of them really, really quick, especially at the beginning of the game. So if you wanted to say, get to the other side of the map and then shoot the people landing in, you could land on a station right below you, quickly run to the station, go through a load of them, and end up on the other side of the map before people have even landed, and probably get a gun and get ready to wait for them as they come in. That would be a pretty cool strategy. I'd like to see some people who are better at shooting than I am try that out. So there's lots of other things going on. One of the best things about this update is the new UI. So they've completely changed the way it looks in the bottom left, and if you're playing with a team, it's really, really helpful. Now you can see how many armor plates they've got, whether they've got a satchel or not, whether they've got a gas mask or not. If they've got, you can still see the thing about whether they've got a self-revive, which I think you could see before. You can also see if they've picked up any of the key cards on Rebirth Island. The fact that they've actually put a slot specifically for key cards, making me hopeful that maybe we're going to see some key cards or something on Caldera. Maybe we're going to see something like that. But yeah, you can see lots of information. You can also see how much your team has in cash at this given time, and whether you can afford to get a loadout or a redeploy if you need one and stuff like that. So no more trying to do the quick maths to work out if you've got enough to buy a loadout. Instead, it just tells you right there what's your combined total, and that's super useful. Like, I really, really like that. It's a nice play. It's a nice sort of quality of life change that I think is well overdue. In terms of other things that have been added to the game, there is the new perk Serpentine, which has been in Call of Duty Vanguard for a while. I did pick it up once and I had it in a loadout. I haven't really noticed the effect yet. I haven't played that many games. Maybe it'll be good. I think it gives you a 20% damage reduction if you're sprinting. So obviously that could be super useful in certain situations, but I just haven't felt anything yet, and I haven't come across any times where I've been shooting someone and it's felt like it's taken forever to kill them. So maybe not many people have got it equipped yet. I'm not really sure. There's also a new radar jammer item that you can pick up. This is just something that you deploy on the ground as like your specialist thing, I guess, and it creates a circle around you which messes up the minimap for other people. So it appears as like a glitching effect, which is kind of cool, and apparently it will also stop them from calling in kill streaks or anything like that. So if you're trying to push a bounty or something, or if you've got a bounty coming towards you, that could be a really effective thing just to sort of try and hide, try and cover your approach or your escape. There is the new SMG, and it is in ground loot like it normally is when they add new guns and stuff like that. The challenge to complete this, if you're doing it in Warzone, is going to be pretty difficult. You have to get 3 slide kills in 15 different matches. Even doing that in something like Plunder or Rebirth, I think is going to be kind of challenging for a lot of people. Obviously, if you do it in Vanguard, it'll be a lot simpler. You can just do it in Ship House or something, and it'll take a long time, but you'll be able to get it done. I would say we were playing with it in custom games. The SMG by itself is kind of fine. Like, I don't mind it. It feels a lot like the MP40. It's pretty accurate. It seems okay. The ground loot version that you get in Warzone is absolutely bloody terrible. For some reason, all of the ground loot ones I found have had the burst fire attachment on it, which isn't a normal part of the gun. That's like an attachment, and that just ruins it. Like, a burst fire SMG, as far as I know, has never been really good. It's really annoying to use. It doesn't feel like it does much damage in each burst, so you're going to get burnt down by anyone who has a normal SMG. So far, I wouldn't bother with the ground loot version of this gun. Now, there is some other cool stuff that's come with this update. One of the best things is the stuff that they've changed with the loot boxes. So there's loads of new stuff you can find in loot boxes. And I found stuff like speed boosts. And in my video before this update came out, I was like, oh, I think the speed boosts are going to be pointless because they're not going to last very long, thinking it was just going to be like the ones in Operation Monarch. But actually, the speed boosts are amazing. It lasts for a really long time. It's super useful. If you grab one, it might change your mind and make you think, okay, now I'm going to go engage this person because I can move really quick. Or you could go redeploy someone because you can move really fast. Or even just traversing the map. It's really handy being able to have this speed boost that lasts for what feels like a very long time. You can also find a couple of different types of redeploy tokens. One of them gives you another shot in the gulag. One of them just lets you redeploy if you die. I found one of those, like, they're kind of rare, but not super rare. So you can find those dotted about. You can also find specialists, so you can now get specialists. You can find loadout drops. Again, these things are rare, but they are about. And it's kind of because they're so good. And there's also the new perks. There's a bunch of new perks in there, so you can get things like hardline and stuff. Because all of the stuff in these loot boxes is so good, it means you carry on looting even late into the game, because you're always thinking, oh, I might be able to get another perk, I might be able to get a speed boost, I might be able to get a redeploy token. So this change actually makes a massive difference to the game, because rather than just getting to the point where you're kind of kitted out and you're ready and now you're just going to fight, instead you're always thinking like, oh, I could loot. If you hear a box, it's like, it's probably worth it because there's much better stuff in there. Also, another cool change is that they've made the buybacks so much cheaper. So instead of being $4,000, now it's $3,000, which means obviously it's easier to get people back into the game. Now, they actually said in the blog that this is all about trying to make it so people are playing the game more. They're not sitting there spectating their friends and stuff. And that's a good thing in my mind. Like, I'm never that annoyed if someone buys someone back in a game. Like, that's not a negative thing for me. It gives you another opportunity to fight and stuff like that. But it's a lot more fun when in a game it's super easy to buy people back. Like, it's much easier to find 3,000 rather than 4,000. It's a whole $1,000 easier. So that's a really cool change, and it means that, you know, playing as a squad is more fun than it's been before. The last big change for the Caldera mode is that there's less players. Now, I've seen some people sort of debating this in my chat about whether this is a good thing or not. I personally think it's a great thing. I've talked about this in videos before, that I think the idea of just having loads of players for the sake of it is a bad thing for games. It's been a bad thing for Battlefield. I think it's a bad thing for Warzone. So they've reduced it to 120 players. I don't think that's a massive difference. It didn't feel the same while I was playing it, but maybe they needed to do that to add the minecarts in and stuff like that. And with all of the new redeploy options, I don't think games are going to feel that different. Maybe they'll be a little bit chaotic at the beginning, but again, I haven't really noticed that in playing. I think this is a great change, especially if it makes like connections better, if it makes matchmaking better and all of that stuff. I think they could potentially even go lower, maybe go down to 100 people, but this is fine as it is. With Warzone 2, I really hope they sort of think about this and think, okay, we don't need to go like crazy and go up to like 200 players or 300 players or something. Less players is fine as long as you've got that sort of constant engagement and you're constantly seeing people, then it's absolutely fine. And that might be to do with like the map size and stuff like that. Now, over on Rebirth Island, there's not much different as far as we can tell. They've said that the occupation scan thing is working, but we haven't seen that at all. Like, we completed a whole game of Rebirth and didn't see it happen once, and we played another game, still didn't see it. You can still interact with the towers and just do the normal UAV thing, but we haven't had this event happening. So I'm not sure, maybe it's super rare and it just doesn't happen very often, or maybe it's not quite working yet. We were getting a playlist update after every game, so who knows, by the time you're watching this video, maybe it'll be fixed, maybe it'll be working. And other than that, Rebirth feels the same. Obviously, a lot of those other changes from Warzone in general have swapped over, so buybacks are cheap. You've got all of that cool new loot stuff there. All of that stuff's really good, and you've obviously got the new UI and all of that stuff. So Rebirth feels just as good as ever. All of these new changes across the board in Warzone feel really, really good to me. Like, there's so many quality of life changes in this update. I really love it. I get that some people will be a bit disappointed that, you know, there's only one gun. I think there's like one new operator, there's one new multiplayer map in Vanguard, and we don't seem to have any Easter eggs or massive new POIs or anything like that in the Warzone maps. But as a mid-season update, I really appreciate the fact that they're just working on making the core game as good as possible, and hopefully a lot of these like experiments, a lot of the things they're changing will influence the way they're making Warzone 2 and sort of like help them make better decisions about like what makes the game fun to play. So in my mind, this update is a massive win. Like, really, really happy with this. It's definitely sort of reinvigorated my enthusiasm to play Warzone. Even just the loot box changes, like that's one of the biggest things to me, is like it's made it really fun to loot because there's such like a wide variety of stuff that you can get, and some of it will really change the way you play, like the speed boost. So that's really, really cool. So let me know in the comments, what do you think of this update? What do you like in particular about it, or is there anything you don't like, any problems that you've seen so far? Like I said at the beginning, if you found any secrets, please let me know, because I'd be really interested to find out. I wouldn't be surprised if there was something on Rebirth Island like hinting at whatever's going on with that. They did release an image on the blog post where they kind of had a crossed out playlist thing for Rebirth Island for about 3 or 4 weeks away. So I'm assuming there is going to be something there, maybe to tie into like the Modern Warfare reveal and stuff like that, the Modern Warfare 2 reveal. We'll see. But if you find any secrets, please let me know. So don't forget to like and subscribe, and I'll see you soon.